So, hi, I'm Vicky,
I'm Sydney.
and this is our final assignment for DTC 354, the digital storytelling class for the DTC program. And
We chose to create 2 different social media platforms for one person. We created a fictional girl who goes here and is in the DTC program named Taylor Brooks, and we wanted to demonstrate how differently you can tell a story, your life story, I guess, depending on what social media platform you're on. So she took over the Instagram and I took over the Twitter. Should we go into the Google Doc?
yeah, first we started off by making a profile for Taylor Brooks just to make everything consistent. So, we decided on a birth date for her. We decided on a Twitter and Instagram username just to make it consistent. Some hobbies that she had. So she was a PNW, and she loved hiking. She loved concerts. She loved the nature, photography, music. She's quite a foodie, like a lot of Portlanders are. So she had a pet. She had a pet dog, and so, like she mentioned already, she was in the DTC program, and she was a communications minor, just to make it. And she was into photography, so her DTC superpower was content creation. She gets stressed out easily. She tries to be optimistic, and so we kind of tried to put that on the Twitter and the Instagram, the negative sides on the Twitter and the more positive sides on the Instagram. That's how we went about.
My inspiration for Twitter it comes directly from my life. So I wanted the Twitter to be a classic example of how I see me and my friends using Twitter. So it can be kind of negative and pessimistic. Something funny I think is whenever I meet new people, I'm always like, hey, do you have an Instagram? Let's follow each other on Instagram. But I never offer my Twitter. I'm not like, hey, follow me on Twitter. No. Because yeah, I know why. Because it can just be a nice place to go and rant, and it's not necessarily a place you expect people to follow you or interact with you all the time, where I think Instagram you are trying to create more engagement and follower activity, but on Twitter I wasn't really looking for that. I think Vicky engaged with me once, but that's okay. So yeah, it's just a lot more real, I think, whereas the Instagram is not.
Yeah, right. I wanted to make the Instagram very positive and very cheery, almost cheesy. If you look, I was trying to compare. I was looking through different students' Instagrams, and my own Instagram and Sydney's Instagram, and just different people who live around this area, and it's very the profiles are very pretty. It's very filtered, I guess. It's a very filtered outlook of life. As in Twitter, it's everything you're thinking. You're just gonna put it down, But Instagram, it's very thought out. Yeah.
So yeah, now we can take you through our profiles a little bit. So this is the Twitter. This is an example of using a GIF, which a lot of people do, and I personally love doing. We gave Taylor a pretty hard semester, so in this tweet she is complaining about it. She's a Timbers fan, so I wanted her to interact with some Timbers tweets. That could be a more positive aspect, but otherwise, in this one, not to be dramatic, but Excel is the worst thing ever created. That is a verbatim tweet from myself, because I was experiencing Excel. Yeah, a lot of these tweets are my own. I wanted Taylor to be relatable, and I didn't want her to sound fake. I wanted her to tweet like a normal person, I guess. And this one, I didn't tweet this, but this was my experience. I tweeted this on Taylor's account after I experienced going to the new Fred Meyer, and it was really stressful. I'm not sure what else, but yeah, just the overall tone is kind of pessimistic, I guess.
It's very genuine, just like any student would.
Yeah. Yeah, just telling it like it is, not really holding anything back. I think it ended up pretty good.
And we try to kind of stay consistent between the Instagram and the Twitter. Like, for example, she went to the ocean trip and she took Timbers game, and I did a throwback to the weekend of the same thing, and
Yeah, exactly. When she posted these pictures on Instagram, I noticed that, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll post them on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So good teamwork there. Yeah, I think that is a pretty good overview.
So I decided to make Taylor. First, I started with the profile. So she lives around here, and she loves traveling, she loves photography, and she loves food a lot. She's, like we already mentioned, she's a DTC student at WCB. I thought that was pretty important to mention. And let's start from the very bottom. So this is actually one of Sydney's pictures, and I just put it there as like an introduction, like to put it like a human, because I didn't want to like put a face to the Instagram, so we kind of just chose pictures from like behind of the person, or of the person's hands, or where she went. So like for the first one, I just did the cheery message and some hashtags, like, and then
I love that one.
Really?
Yeah, that one and the camera one.
The camera one. I try to make it like, if you go here, like the overall aspect, I want it to be like very consistent. Like it didn't work out for some of them, but we chose some pictures from what are they called? Those like free
Unsplash?
Like unsplash.com or stock photos. So some of them are mine or Taylor's photos. Some of them are from Unsplash, the stock photo sites. So I wanted to add some quotes, and just to make it almost cheesy in a way, like, because that's kind of relatable. Like we tend to put the best part of ourselves on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I started doing the hashtags, and I got like 43. I don't know why. I decided to make it a challenge and see how many followers I could get. But yeah, so this is some of my pictures from when I went on a trip. So I just added them in. Like it was Taylor's summer last year. And I added in WCV because that's where she went. And she's a photographer, so I added some of her work in here. And it's the perfect time for senior photos, so I thought I'd just, throw that out just in case somebody, So, like Sydney mentioned, she's a Timbers fan. So I added one of Sydney's pictures of when she was at the Timbers. This is another throwback. And she enjoys concerts, so I added that in as well.
Yeah, overall, you got a lot of good engagement too.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it shows how much more interested people can be in like pretty happy content like that versus content like mine.
I feel like it's very the whole PNW thing. The PNW thing. There's a lot of I've noticed that I got a lot of like nature followers and things like that.
Here we are again.
Okay. Hi. So Sydney was just telling me a story about experience that she had like last week. So kind of when she went to a Timbers game, and like the negative and positive aspects about it that she actually did. Like she actually tweeted and posted and how different they were, and like, go ahead.
Yeah, we brought that into the project. Like Taylor also went to the Timbers game, and she posted a photo and how fun it was and everything was great. But then on Twitter, she was getting sunburnt, the game was hot, it sucked. So she was experiencing the same Timbers game, but depending on the platform, like the way she was telling the story was different. And that was the same for me, so I took experience from that. We both did, I think.
Yeah, and we just kind of wanted to say that what we wanted to put across was successful, because just by reading the whole like feed and going through the Instagram, it's the same life story, but in different like told in different ways. And so that's kind of how we wanted it to be.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you for the class.
Yes. Good job.
Good job. Alrighty. Bye.
This is good. So if I put it right there and we're sitting right here, don't fall. Let's make sure that doesn't happen.